there's a lot of positive news coming out of the Islanders camp. But let's before we get there, just talk about the roster announcements. Starting with the waivers on Sunday and Monday. Andrew Ladd, AJ Greer, Tanner Fritz, Austin Zarnak, Cole Bedreau, Parker Wotherspoon, Thomas Hickey, and yes, Josh Hosang all hit waivers and they all cleared. Hitting waivers today, and I think it hit most of Islanders Twitter by surprise, was Leo Komarov. He looks to be bound for the taxi squad. I don't see him getting claimed, but it leaves the door wide open for an Oliver Wahlstrom or a Kiefer Bellows to take that third line. I think that it will be Dal Cole, JG Peugeot, and Kiefer Bellows on the third line. But Oliver Wahlstrom has the opportunity as well. I didn't see any transactions involving him yet, so I'll be interested to see what the opening night lineup looks like. I think Trotz is thinking that Dal Cole in his own end is enough that both he and Peugeot can make up for what one of the kids might be lacking. And like I said on Twitter earlier today, and John, I don't know if you agree here, and I said this earlier, but this is probably the best set of line mates Dal Cole would have had since becoming a full-time NHLer. So maybe this helps out his offense a little bit. Maybe
Or he doesn't need to be that guy. I don't think he needs. Like, I
he
think
doesn't.
he's kind of an up and down the ice, north south kind of guy. Gets the puck in, gets it
Yeah,
back for Peugeot, who sets up the kid.
right. I
I
think
I,
that's the
I think
idea.
that's a pretty good makeup of that line. Though that
Right.
if that's you need one skill guy, you need one of this, you need a setup guy, you need a playmaker, you need a grind. Like they seem that seems to mix well to me. Yes, Del Cole needs to relax with the puck a little bit. He tries to get it off his stick as quickly as possible. But I think having some consistent time, not playing 30 games spread out over 6 months might help. Instead, playing a little bit more consistently and maybe being
Yeah.
one of two core guys that are in games every single night, and then having the kids kind of go in and out and get a feel for it with Wallstrom and Bellows. Like you said, that third line will be the best. The kids playing with Peugeot will be
Yeah.
really good. Trotz likes Dal Cole. He's not exactly a defensive liability. So I think that bodes well for that line.
Right.
He'll get the puck in and he'll go get it. He'll bang some bodies. He knows the system. He played a little bit with Peugeot last year. I think that's going to work out.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a really good line. And you're right. He doesn't have to be that guy. He could just be the guy who's good in his own end, get the puck out of the zone, and do what he's done pretty well already. But let's not forget that he was a fifth overall pick in the NHL draft. Let's not forget that he put up a plethora of points in the CHL when he was down in juniors. I know that I'm not saying that he's going to become this top six forward, this guy who scores maybe 20 goals a year, but I'll take 10. I'll take 12 on the third line.
He's not played consistently in the NHL.
Right.
He's gotten games. They're racking up,
Right.
but it's not every night with really good players,
Right. And this is
and
his
that
best
makes a huge difference.
opportunity to do that. And you look at a guy like Josh Bailey, and I tweeted this earlier today too. Josh Bailey was a late bloomer. Everybody was ready to write him off by this point in his career. I don't see why Michael Dal Cole, not saying he's the same player as Bailey, but I don't see why he can't also be a late bloomer and maybe come into his own a little bit. Take, an extra step this year. And if that step is just chipping in a couple of goals here and there and making sure the other team doesn't score, so be it. I'm okay with that. I think that I'm completely fine with Dal Cole being on the third line as long as it's with Peugeot and Bellows or Wallstrom.
I think it was hard for him to transition his game away from being kind of a goal scoring threat to being more of a middle six player or even a bottom six player
Yeah.
when he's not playing all the time. It's one thing to transition. Like Bailey wasn't taken out of his element and told to change his game necessarily. I think he moved from center to wing.
Mhm.
So that's definitely an adjustment. But the style, I don't know that there was that much of an adjustment as far as how he thought about the game. Whereas Dal Cole, they're saying you're not doing this thing you did with relative ease in junior and maybe for your whole career leading up to that. You're going to transition away. You're not going to
Right.
necessarily be thinking about carrying the puck over the blue line and making a play. You're going to do this. You're going to do the safe play, but then you got to go get it. You got to bang your
Right.
body a little bit, and it might take a while to do that. And it doesn't help that he's not playing all the time. I know I've said that like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
It just I know that that's going to hurt him trying to figure it all out.
Right.
And if he's the guy, if he's one of the wingers on the flanking Peugeot, and he's going to be there every single night, I think that makes a huge difference, and I think he'll play really well
Yeah.
in that role.
Yeah.
Not 30 goals. And look, you never know. Filppula scored whatever it was,
20.
17, 20. It's not
Or 20.
impossible.
It's not.
Delco's a young kid. He's still got the energy. And
That's what I'm saying.
if I was him, I'd be stoked to know that I was that guy.
Yeah. Definitely. And that Val confidence can, help him take that step. Again, he doesn't have to be that guy. He could just be the guy, like you said, who is good in his own end, gets the puck out, and does his job. But
Yeah.
there are reasons for him to take a little bit of an extra step and maybe, you know, have a better than mediocre year this year. I don't see it being completely out of the question. Um, but good for him for not making just the taxi squad, but he'll be most likely in the opening night lineup on Thursday. But before we talk about that lineup, um, let's talk about who is going to be on the taxi squad. I know one or two guarantees here. It's going to be Schneider. And if Thomas Hickey doesn't get moved, because I know that they're still trying to move Thomas Hickey, he'll be there. I should have said three. Sorry, Leo Komarov will be there. There's seemingly three other spots, and it's pretty implied that Andrew Ladd's going to be there, and I believe Ross Johnston will be there too. That sixth spot is kind of a wild card, but I think it will be Timashov. Do you tend to agree there?
I'm not so like with Hickey, and I think I said it last week, and I keep reiterating it on Twitter. Staple agrees um, that Hickey will most likely stick around. That's a huge risk
Yeah,
getting rid of that guy.
I agree.
Now, Bolduc seems to have stepped up, and
Yes.
he may be the seventh D, but it's a long season, and you may need two guys.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna.
you don't want to be caught with your pants down. That was a nice surprise, but to me, it makes sense to have three forwards,
Yeah,
two defensemen, and a goaltender on that taxi squad, or at least available. Now, the taxi squad may be Komarov, Hickey, Schneider, Johnson, Ladd, Timashov. That's six guys, and that works out to a lot of forwards. But it could work out if for some reason the
yeah,
kids don't work. They want them to get work, and they want to send one of them down to the A. They can call up Timashov to be the 13th forward, or
right.
Johnston to be the 13th forward. So there's room there, and one of them may be on the 13th, 14th forward. It depends on how the money works out. Depends on whose contract makes sense to be on
Yeah,
the NHL roster, who needs to go through waivers. You save $2 million on Ladd's contract, I believe. On Komarov, it's much less.
yeah,
On Hickey, I don't think it's all that much. So you're kind of moving players around and trying to make the money work too. If it makes more sense to have Johnston on the full-time roster than in the A, on a minor league contract on the taxi squad, it's all kind of complicated. So it'll maybe by the time you're listening to this, some of this has been fleshed out, and we're right or wrong on this particular part of it, because I kind of expected more players to be moving, but maybe the majority of them got moved yesterday. Timashov has not yet signed not the contract hasn't been announced. So that's kind of one of the last ones.
that's
Him and Schneider, nothing's official yet. The other ones have been leaked, and we know Green and
yeah.
whatever. But Timashov and Schneider haven't been, which is maybe why they weren't
So
sent down.
I'm not sure about Timashov's contract because in Staples' article a couple days ago, actually, He did say that he signed a 1 year contract, so maybe they're all signed, just not filed, is what maybe should have been the message that was sent. I don't know, but
Well, we said this. A lot of people were saying the same thing about Green. Oh, it'll be about 1.5 million, and then it was half of that, which is what we were saying. It'll probably be
yeah,
a league min. I don't see this guy. Uh, he's made his money. He knows what his role is.
yeah,
It's for Lou. Come on, it's not gonna be $1.5 million is way too much. Now he can get bonuses and there's all sorts of stuff, and it could count against the cap and blah, 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 but um worse, it would count against the cap next year if it goes over a little bit, but that's neither here nor there at this
yeah.
point.